Welcome back to day 27 of the 30-day coding challenge. Today we're going to be building this business website. If you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor that loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in learning how to code and starting a career as a front-end web developer, check out our bootcamp. It's the first link in the description below. But without further ado, let's hop into today's challenge. Alright, so yeah, we have this pretty straightforward business website. I tried to build this in a challenge before, but didn't get enough time to finish it because it was a 20-minute timer. So we're going to finish it and build it out really nicely today. So yeah, as you can see, we have this hero, this book, a table, call to action, these sort of sections and, explanations, and then the call to action there at the bottom again, and a footer. And then what that call to action does, it actually redirects us to this page. We're going to be using the Next.js his app router in order to do that, and then we'll make this sort of booking reservation form, and that's going to be the project. So let's hop into it. If you do want to follow along and use the design, it's from Frontend Mentor. It is one of their premium designs, but you can access the design, build it alongside if you'd like to. I'll link the design in the description below, and I'm using the starter kit with Material UI, Next.js, and TypeScript, and again using the app router from Next.js. So this is the app all spun up and ready to go. So let's hop into it. I've dropped in the assets, the images from Frontend Mentor, so those are ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and clear out some of these styles so we can start fresh. These are like reset styles. And then I'm going to start by creating a new folder for the components and creating a hero component. So I don't think there was a nav. Yeah, there's not really a nav. It's more just a logo. So I'm just going to call this whole thing the hero, and we'll start with that. So for the hero, we have the logo in the top left, this image, and then the text and the call to action. So I think, and it also, no, I was gonna say I'd do a container. Maybe I'll do. It looks like things are in a container, like in the inside, but then the design stretches out to the outside. So I think what I'll end up doing is boxes and then containers within them. So let's create hero and bring it into the app. Hero, cool. So I'm going to turn this into a box on the outside. And then I'm going to do a container on the inside. Okay, and then for the box, I'm going to say the background image is going to be, let's look at our photos here. Homepage, hero, desktop. Okay. And then within the container now, close that up, we want the logo and then the text all on the left side there. Okay, so let's look at the logo. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to make it an image, but I'm also going to wrap it in a link from Next.js. So I'll say link, and the href is going to be /. That'll bring it back to the home page, and then I'm going to do the image tag from Next.js. Cool. So we have the logo, and then below that we'll have a typography element. And I'm wondering if there are some consistent styles, so maybe I'll use the Material UI themes to sort of make this a little bit easier. So we'll say 80 pixels, go into our styles, theme, H1, going to be 80 pixels, and it's going to be 500. And it says the line height is 80. I'm not sure if that's correct, but we'll try that. I think that's a bit too much, but let's see. And then we can go ahead and just drop out a few other tags. So like this will be our H2 here. And it does look like we use it in more than one color. Otherwise, I would set the color of this. I will set the color of the H1 though, because that seems to be the same. But for the H2, we'll do the font size and the font weight. So the size is 48. And the font weight, I'm gonna give it 800, and if it's too much, we can always pare it down. And then it says the line height is 48. We'll see again if that's correct. And then for the body now, let's see, it's gonna be, we'll do body 1. Font size, whoops, size is gonna be 1.5, 1.25 rem, right? Yep. And then font weight is normal, line height is 30. What else do we need? Oh, this body too. That's just gonna be in our footer, it looks like. Body 2. Font size. What else? Height 28, and letter spacing is going to be 2 pixels. Okay. And I think that should be it. That should be all that we need in terms of text. So we'll go forward with that. All right, so going back to our hero, we're gonna go ahead and turn this into an H1. We'll say exquisite dining since 1989. And then underneath that now we'll say, oops, in a body tag, it's going to be this block of text here. Save that. And then we have this book a table, which is exactly the same in both locations. So I'm going to go ahead and just create that really quickly. So we'll say new file, custom button. And you can call it whatever you want, but I just call it custom button as opposed to button, because if I use Materially-wise button component, then there's a conflict. So if I do use the button component, sorry, for Materially-wise, let's say book a table. Order 1 pixel solid white. And 55. Rem, and 55 is 3.5 rem, give or take. What else? Ground. No. All right, let's see. Oh, and refresh. Element type is invalid. Oh, here. Okay, cool. The other thing I need to do is remove that margin. So we'll say body margin. Good. Okay, good. And okay, yeah, so the line is way too big. So let's go ahead and set that. I was like, those numbers seem ridiculous. So let's say line height of 2, line height of 1, line height of 0.5 and see where that gets us. And also I need to set the text color so we can see it. Okay. Good. But I'm not seeing the background image. Let's say homepage. We did background desktop 2x. Background size. Background repeat, no repeat. We'll say cover. Okay. What else could we do there? Height. All right, we'll say min height. How much of the pizza do we see? We see a lot. Or pizza, pasta, sorry. 70 height. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some more padding and stuff to that. So this I'm gonna make about 40. Good. Let's add some padding. Okay. And then width 50%. No, that's not what we want. And also I have to drop the custom button in here. Otherwise we won't see it. Okay, good. Good, a little bit better. We still have to fix, obviously, the line height, but that does look a lot better. Close this, we don't need that. Custom button, color, white. Let's say font weight, 600. Good, and then touch up the styles, line height, 1. Good. That looks pretty good. Back to the hero, we'll say, we're gonna call this a flex box. We'll say display flex, justify content, or sorry, flex direction, column, justify content, space between, height 100%. I think maybe I need to make this bigger. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then height, we'll say. There we go. Pretty good. And then I'm going to give this a max width of good. All right, I think that looks pretty decent, pretty close. So I think we can move on from there. The next bit that I want to do is this. These are basically very similar components, but they have little differences that's going to make it a little bit tricky. So I'm wondering if I maybe make the image. Let's see. I might end up making one and then piecing it out and then putting it back together, kind of thing. So we'll say, what should we call the second enjoyable place for all the family? Most locally sourced food. All right, so we're going to create a new component. About us place. Not a great name, but we'll go with that for now. We'll start with a box. And again, I'm doing a box on the outside rather than the container just so it can have the full width. And then within that, I'm going to use a container for the text alignment and stuff like that. Excuse me. All right, and then I should probably bring it onto the page so we can see it. That's gonna be a container error. Okay, and then, yes, we want a couple of things here. We want this image and we want this text. So I'm gonna say display flex, make it rhymes. Image, and then which image is that? That is like a stream. Oh, enjoyable place. Yes, enjoyable place, desktop. Okay. And what else does the image have? The image has some sort of like box shadow situation going on there. Okay. Just increasing the spread of whatever that is. And then we have this enjoyable place for all the family. So that's going to be here. We'll say, I'm going to create a box and then put all of the typography elements in that. So we'll say typography, variant is going to be the H2 that we already defined, and we'll just borrow this text. And then in the next typography element, we'll put in this. And actually, if you're paying attention, there's this little like decoration thing there. I think it'd be good to just put it in as an image within this box, because it'll make our lives a lot easier in terms of spacing. So I think that's going to be patterns. Pattern. I don't know if it's pattern lines or pattern. I think it's pattern divide actually, but we'll see. Okay. Oh, fix this. Good. Okay, good. Pick the right image. Yeah, let's just space evenly. Make this a little bit wider. And then I'm going to give this a max height. Okay, good, good, good. And then we're going to say align item center. Or no, not align item center. There we go. And then for this one, oh no, not this one. For this, we'll say flex. Space between. What I'm just trying to do, just add a little bit of space between the image and the text. We'll set the height to 48. There we go. Cool. That looks pretty close. I think we could maybe increase the line height on the H2s, maybe to 1.25. Yeah, and that looks pretty good. And I can even add in a break here so that it matches the break in terms of the text here, just so it just matches a little bit better. The other thing I want to do is try and put in this rectangular box. I'm not quite sure where it goes. I'm thinking probably as a background element here, like the background image. But I also want to find out if it's something they give us, or I think it would be this one if there was any of them. Or if it's something we have to create ourselves, which is not a problem. So let's see that. Background image. Team. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm getting the image. Oh, you know what? That's my fault. I did not put in this. And then that. Okay, there it is. I see it now. Okay, great. Let's look up how we use background position. Top, center, bottom. Okay. Let's do bottom. Okay, let's try that. So say bottom. Bottom maybe 20%. Interesting. Okay. 25%, 75% down, 20% over. And 75%. Let's try that. Okay, that's closer. Background size 100%. Oops, 100%. No, that's too big. Let's do 8%, 80%, 70%. Or does it cut? Oh, yeah, no, it's 60%. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty content with that. The last thing I need to try to do is deal with this image. And I wonder if we can set the position to relative. And then say top -10. Or top 100. Yeah, there we go. Because it has to stretch over the top and the bottom. And then I think maybe -50. Okay, and I'm pretty content with that. So let's close this. Or, I don't know if I need to close it out. If I want to spread it out. I think what I'll do, I'm going to use this template to create a few different components. I'm going to say new file, custom image. And then I'm going to copy this, put it in here. And that is going to take in image source. And alt. And then I'll also leave it open to take in SX props, just in case we need to take in additional, oh no, it's not SX props, my bad. If we need to add that, we can add that. All right, and then I'm gonna change this to custom image. And I'm just gonna leave it with source and alt. Or no, sorry, image, source, and alt. Cool, and it should, yeah, exactly the same. So that's one. What else will I do here? The text is a second, so let's say new file about us text. There's probably a better name for that, but we'll go with this. I'm going to copy this whole box, and that's going to be that. Okay, it's going to take in header. It's going to take in body. Let's see if that works. Put the header here. I'll go ahead and replace this with about us text. So header equals header, body equals body. No, body equals, oh, oops, I just got rid of it. This. Okay, see if that works. Awesome. Perfect. So we have that, and it's a lot cleaner. Don't have to sort of deal with the messiness of that. I think the other piece we want to do is, I think we can just borrow that. About us place, new file about us food. I'm just gonna borrow these two, but I'm gonna change them, which is why I'm not like making a component for them, if that makes sense. Also always good to clean up your imports if you're not using them. So this is about us food. It's gonna go here. Oops. Okay. And then in about us food, it's gonna look pretty much like about us text. Not about us text, sorry, about us place. Again, could have had much better names here. For the header, it's going to be the most locally sourced food. We'll see if that splits correctly, because then we wouldn't have to do anything. Perfect. So yeah, we don't have to do anything there. We're just going to switch these around. Awesome. And then we're going to switch the image. And the image is going to be locally sourced, copy relative path, and it's going to be food. Awesome. The other thing I wanted to do here was add some margin. Margin. To the top there. And then I want to change the background image, curve left. And then change position. Looks pretty good. Awesome. Cool, so those two look good. I think the last thing we want to do on, or last two things, the CTA and the footer. So let's build those out. Yeah, once you have the reusable component, it's super quick to get them going. So that's why I like building those rather than, building it each time. All right, so we'll say new file, CTA. Start with a box. And we're gonna say to be we need to put this in the page. And then it's this, which is an H2. So we'll say and then we have our custom button. Okay. Oh, and I did it again. There we go. Okay, cool. I'll say good. And actually, sorry, I'm going to put this in the container. I think that's going to be better. Much better. And then we're going to set the height. Good. Ready to make a reservation, book a table. That looks good. Actually, one thing I'm noticing on the custom bottom now is actually the border radius should be 0. The sharp corners, because that is the design. All right, so we have that, and then CTA is done. Last piece we need in the footer, and we're gonna be able to reuse it on the other pages, which is great. We're gonna have component, new file, footer.tsx, and we're gonna build that. So again, starting with a box. And then we'll have a container. And one thing I can also do, new file, logo. Instead of having the logo twice, that's going to be no, it does have the flex. All right, I'm just going to borrow it. I'm not going to create a logo file because it does have its own styling here. But that's another optimization, right? You could do that. So the logo, and then we have these two sections of text. So we'll have box, we'll have typography, and then it's going to be this. And its body too, did I set the theme to be always white? So we have one, and then we'll have a second one right next to it. Oh, and I should put this on the page so we can see it. And really, we don't need that outer box. It's just a placeholder. At this point, we could actually get rid of it. Interesting. I think we need, oh, you know what it is? It's the line height. And then it doesn't have a background color, which is 111. There we go. Okay, cool. So with this container, we want to say display flex. Good. And then justify content space evenly. Space between. Okay, and then I'll say this one. Display flex. So let me add some padding here. Okay, there we go. I don't know if it's the line itself. There we go. And then we're going to say all right, that's not too bad. just going to put in the correct information. So obviously if we put in the right font and things like that, it would look a lot closer to the design, but I believe most of these fonts would have to be installed separately. But this is just to show you can do it with the fonts that you have at your disposal. If you don't have the ability to, I don't know if you have to purchase them or just download them. Just a good option. Okay. And then I think we'll add a little bit more to the spacing there. Okay, cool, that looks good. I think the last thing I want to do here is align items in the center. Good. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that for the first page. So we have the first page. Let's go ahead and make the second page. So that's going to be what happens when we click book a table. So book a table is our button, our custom button. And right now it's just a button, but I'm actually going to wrap it in a link. And I'm going to say the href is going to be book/book. And so when you click on it, it should take you to /book. Now the way I want to use the router here, what we're going to do is I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it book. And then within that, I'm going to create a new file called page.tsx. And that is going to be our booking page. And so yeah, if I click on this, it should take me to, to /book, which has nothing right now, but we're gonna fix that. All right, so actually we can stay there and go back to book. On the book page, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's look at the similar elements. So we have a similar hero situation, just a little bit different. It's not so similar that I want to copy it, like that I want to create a separate component and just borrow that, but it's pretty close. I am going to just use the same footer because that's exactly the same. But yeah, we're going to borrow some styles here. So I'm going to start with a box. And then in the bottom, I'm just going to bring in the footer because we know that already. And then I'm going to say new file. I'm going to say book hero. Oops, .tsx. And then I'm actually going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it book. I'm going to put all the book related files in there just to kind of clean things up. And in the book hero, I want to borrow some stuff from this hero. So I'm going to borrow this first section here. Import those, import this, import that, and yeah, should stop complaining there. Now the image we're going to use is a different image though. It's going to be this image. Oh, we need to actually bring it onto the page. That would help. Okay, good. But then instead of it being so large, it's going to be, or maybe 50 view height. And then on top, oh, and then within that now we need our text. So let's grab the, this box here. Again, this could be also a custom component because we are kind of using it very similarly. Really, I just copied the whole thing and I'm just going to add an extra file to it. But And then instead of exquisite dining, it's going to say reservations. And instead of that, it's going to say this. But the difference here is that on the right now we're going to have this, actually we don't need the custom button, sorry, because we've already reached to the place where we want to book the table. Yeah, on the right now we want to have this form. So that's going to be separate, and I'm going to drop it on the hero. And then I do need to touch up these styles, clearly. Okay, so then I'll create a new file. We'll say booking form. I'm going to say make it white. Let's zoom in a little bit. And then we want to use some of these text fields from Material UI. I think it's text field underlined. Let's look it up. No. Standard, and it's variant standard, and that is going to go here. There, or actually I think it's going to go in the other one, in here, and then I'm going to end up wrapping these two in a box. Oh, I'm trying to import book here. I want to import booking form. I didn't even know you could let you do that. All right, cool. And it shouldn't really show too much right now. Yeah, just a box. Okay, perfect. Actually, okay, and then we have our text field. So going back to the booking form now. Let's start to style it out. So some padding. Placeholder. Okay. Okay, we have 2 of those. Actually, let's not put the margin boundary. I might just do a space around. So for those 2. And then we have this little section here. How should we do it? Box. We'll say pick a date, pick a time. And that is going to be a text. We'll do a booking text field. Oops. We'll do 3 of them. And then we're going to say, oh no, sorry, 3? Yes, 3. We'll say display. Oops. Display flex. Pick a date. Then I'm going to pass in some props. You're going to say and auto. Okay. And I'm going to say that is a new file, and it's going to be small text field. Not great names, but we're working with that. And that is going to be this. Okay, we have 3 of those. Looks pretty good. I wonder if I take out the and then I'll say for this one good, and then pick a date, pick a time. much difference. And then make a reservation, which is different from the book button. All right, so we'll have to make that as a customized button. Okay, that looks good. And then the other thing we could do here is have this little counter. So it's really a small piece here. We could say people counter. We could say const count, set count. And then so it's going to be a button, with a minus, it's going to be a button with a plus, and then it's going to be I don't think we defined a typography element for that, so we'll say, oh no, 20. 20 is H2. Body 1. Body 1. Body 1, just bold. And it's going to be count people. And then on click, set count to be count -1, and then on click, set count to be count +1. And we should put it on the page. There we go. We could say okay, good. And then with the whole form now, I'm going to say display flex, flex direction column. We're going to say justify content, space between. Good, and that kind of spaces out a little bit. So rather than adding like individual spacing for each of them, you can just do that. And that's just a check. Our counter is working. We can add and subtract people. We could even have negative people. I don't know how that works, but it's a feature, not a bug. So we have those, and then because we're using the text field input for Material UI, it doesn't show the color. Actually, I think one reason it's not showing the colors because I have it in dark mode. So let me change this to light mode. See if that changes anything. Yeah, there we go. All right, so yeah, we can actually pass in the correct properties there. So let's take in some props here. Let's say, and then we'll say placeholder. All right, so placeholder. Oh, and then we should actually use it, right? Placeholder. So then placeholder is going to be name. Placeholder is going to be email. Small text field. And this is going to have to take a placeholder. Okay, and then here we'll say placeholder is, what was it, month, day, year. Okay, and then placeholder here is going to be 09, placeholder clock, placeholder AM. Okay, cool, not too bad. And of course you could touch this up some more. You could add in the drop down and things like that. But just to kind of give us a general feeling of the thing. We have that, and then it looks like it's a bit taller. So I'm gonna say min height. Yeah, that looks a bit better. And then I'm gonna give it a max width of, and then this is on the book hero. So we'll say this and this, display flex, justify content, space between. Good, just to give it a little space there. Align items flex start. Thought it was the default, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to align self to flex start. I might be also taking in the logo into account, but anyhow. What else goes below? Oh yeah, and then there's this like decorative section here. I guess we can put that outside the box, and in another box we can just say background image URL. And it's going to be the same one. This one here. Oh, I should, yeah, no, that's dropped on the page. Background image. Okay, because it's within that, it wouldn't work. Okay, so then I'm gonna make this This is going to be separate on the Book Hero page, yeah. Yeah, there we go. We'll say background. Oh, and actually it's top, bottom, right? Yeah, definitely 60%. Okay, and then gonna bring in this image. Okay. And that looks pretty close. I think we just want to move the booking form down a little bit. And maybe move this stuff into its own. Okay, yeah, so within Book Hero now, the form. Good, that looks better, and it does have a box shadow. Good. And I think with the decoration, we can maybe give this. Good. Footer. Good. And that looks to me to be pretty close, minus the fonts and things like that, to what the actual design is. Let's give it a test out. We'll go here, we click Dine, we click Book a Table, we get back to where we're going. That looks pretty good. If we check the second button, it should still work the same way. And yeah, pretty much done. So this is a great piece to add to your portfolio if you want something that's just like going to showcase your ability to both use the router, you know, do a little bit with state here, work with a form. You could definitely send this somewhere. and then just do general stylings as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to see the rest of the videos in this challenge, I'll leave a link to the playlist up here so you can check those out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.